It's just gone lunchtime. This is All Angles here on eNCA. Good afternoon. I'm Thathiah. It is that time of the day when we give you an update on how far some of the stories we've been following for you here today have advanced. This is your lunchtime update. Our reporters are out and about, bringing you the latest on today's top stories. I'm joined by reporters Dasen Thathiah in Durban and Kevin Brandt in Stellenbosch. Dasen, I'm going to start with you. Pop Crew, of course, seeking to elect leaders who will find solutions in the fight against crime. But what's the union's message or position on the issue of political killings in that province?
Maseko, that Congress is about halfway through. It's expected to wrap up later this week. But I can tell you that there have been a lot of interesting points that have been coming out through the speakers that have been addressing the Congress. You can see from just what's happening behind me that it is quite well attended. We're told that there are over 1,000 delegates here. And earlier today, Zizamele Klebakhulu, who's the outgoing president of Pop Crew, once again spoke out on various issues. I'll just touch on a few of them, and one of them really was around the fact that more police officers are needed, especially in a province like KwaZulu-Natal. He named that province specifically, also spoke about the Western Cape. But the reason why he touched on KwaZulu-Natal is because, as many people will know, this is an area where political killings, political violence continues to be a problem. And he says that even the finance minister may not even be aware of what's going on the ground. And it is the police officers that are here that need to deal with the issues that they face, and they may not be well resourced enough. So there was a call that was made saying that there should be more police officers that are deployed to areas like KwaZulu-Natal for the issue of political violence, and the Western Cape to deal with gang violence there. There were also a few other points that he made, including the issue around the courts. And he said that he believes that while police officers are doing their work, and while the other arms that are, or rather the other parts of law enforcement are doing their work, once it gets to the courts, that's where he feels that there is a failure, and all of this is contributing to the high crime rates. Let's listen into part of that address that he made earlier on at this Congress.
We are worried about political crimes in this province. We want more police officers to be put in KwaZulu-Natal, because we are worried about every day you read about a councillor that has been mowed down. Every day you read about a member of a political party that has been mowed down. We appeal, Commissioner, National Commissioner, assist KwaZulu-Natal. If Kodongwane say the austerity measures, Kodongwane don't understand the problems here. Kodongwane don't understand the problems here. He's just a minister of police, in the treasury, who looks after money.
And Dasen, police killings are also in the spotlight. So what are officers planning to do to combat these ongoing murders?
Well, the police management is here. General Fani Masamula is joined by his team, as well as the Provincial Commissioner, They were here, and they will be here for the rest of the day. And that is one of the issues that was touched on by the National Commissioner, the issue of police killings. But in a province like KwaZulu-Natal, possibly it's a bit like, preaching to the converted, because in the past few weeks we've seen a number of engagements between police and criminals, and in those interactions, those shootouts, we've seen that there were close to 20 suspects that were killed. But preceding all of that, you'll recall that there was a National Intervention Unit member that was also murdered in one of those shootouts with police. But again, today, the National Commissioner reiterating the point to those that were in attendance, saying that criminals should not be given a chance, and that police must definitely fight back when they are under attack. Let's listen to part of his address to the Congress just a short while ago.
Police killings are increasing, and I learned that there might be those that says we are killing people. Police, remember, given firearms not to go out there and shoot Wild West. You have been trained, you know the law, you know the circumstances under which you should use your firearm. And when criminals shoot at you, as I always say, that you cannot shy away. You have to defend yourself and you have to defend the community. You are the last line in defense of the society. Behind you, there is nobody. If you relent, you give away, then it means we'll have no country. So you have no option to be defeated by criminals. You have to face them. You have to face them, you have to defend yourself, you have to defend the society. But of course, you must do all that within the ambit of the law.
All right, let's go to Kevin. And of course, Kevin, you are covering this story about research into ways of reducing the impact of climate change. In the Western Cape in particular, the government there has partnered with scientists. You are covering that story. What has been discussed so far?
Very good afternoon to you, Masejo. Well, a climate-resilient agriculture sector is in sharp focus here in the Western Cape following that agreement from the Western Cape government in partnership with the University of Stellenbosch, in particular the School of Climate Studies, to see how the agriculture sector within this region, but also the data that will be collected here will be shared throughout the rest of the country to see how agriculture will have to pivot itself to buffer the sector against a changing climate. We've seen over the last couple of years how weather conditions have changed. It's been predicted that the warmer regions will become even warmer and the drier regions even drier. And that is why the scientists here are now collaborating with the provincial government, the agriculture department in particular, to see how they can gather data which will allow the producers here within this region and in the country then to further map out their operations and to see how they need to change together with a changing climate. But here to talk to me more about aspects of the studies underway, I'm here at the Welgevallen Experimental Farm. It is part of the Stellenbosch University campus, and behind me there are table grapes. There are many more crops being studied here on this farm itself. But Courtney Frolics, he's the principal technical assistant here on this farm. And Courtney, can you just highlight what the importance of the studies that you conduct here when looking at very specific details when it comes to crop farming? How important is that in particular with efforts to better protect the agriculture sector in particular against the impact of climate change?
Yeah, so it helps us to make better decisions, to know more about the vine and know more about how we can adapt according to climate. So we try and do as much as we can in terms of managing what we have here. So water management, we plant cover crops to keep the moisture in the soil and other beneficial stuff you gain from it. And yeah, we are in the process of getting more cultivars in that is disease and drought resistant. So choosing cultivar, if you're in the commercial setup, you are going to have to choose the correct cultivar and rootstock when you talk about vineyards now, and then also your vineyard design, which trailer system and which irrigation system you want to put in for that block. But yeah, that's on our side. We're trying to do as much as we can to utilize the resource of such as water that we have efficiently, and doing research on specific cultivars to know exactly how much water does it need. And yeah, that's from my side, that's it.
Thank you very much for that insight, Courtney. So Masego, Courtney explained to us now, he is a technical assistant here on the Welgevallen farm. So together with work being conducted on the ground here, on the experimental farm itself, together with scientists on the main campus. I was there earlier today and they are studying the life cycle of fruit flies, for instance, and see under which conditions, stress conditions, how do they behave, and to see whether or not that species in itself can adapt to a changing climate, and that will obviously guide the way that farmers need to approach their production on ground level in future. But overall, word coming from the provincial government is that they're trying to equip this sector to be better protected against the effects of climate change. Masego.
All right, that was your eNCA lunchtime update from all angles with reporters Kevin Brandt and Dasen Thathiah.